In the vibrant city of Elizabeth, New Jersey, a devoted mother beams with pride as she nurtures her 4 children. Life is beautifully unfolding, filled with love and cherished moments, when everything changes in the blink of an eye. A night out for fun spirals into mystery as she suddenly vanishes. What happened that evening? And what happens when love becomes fatal? This is a Fatal Attraction podcast with Chasing Justice.
March 27th, 2016. It's Easter Sunday in Elizabeth, New Jersey, a gritty industrial city tucked between Newark and Staten Island.
Elizabeth is a very diverse community with a lot of Afro-Americans, Italian-Americans, and Hispanic Americans.
We're populated at around 140,000, which means that we have all the problems of any major urban city.
You don't know what's gonna happen any time, day or the night. It's never safe.
Although at first, the call that comes in at 6 o'clock that evening seems relatively routine.
I'm calling because I can't find my sister.
Family has been trying to get a hold of 26-year-old Trice Johnson since the early afternoon.
My mom called me. She said, "Have you spoke to your sister?" I said, "No." She's like, "Well, she normally call us every morning on video chat, and this morning, she didn't call me." So my mom said she kept trying to call her.
This is very uncharacteristic of her. She wouldn't just go off and not respond to the multiple calls.
Trice, open up!
I called my sister Jaquetta, and I said, "Quetta, come on. We're going to see if we could get into TT house."
When they were unable to get in, they called 911 to put an alert about what's going on.
I'm here at her apartment and I can't seem to get in. We don't know where she is.
Her sister was feeling scared, nervous, anxious, and they wanted the police to do a wellness check.
The last time everybody seen her, she was home.
Okay. All right, I'll send police officers over, okay?
For Trice Johnson, family was everything.
She loved her family. She always was the one that kept our family together.
She comes from a family of 10 siblings, and they were all very close.
She the one that would throw the events for all of us, to have a good time. That's who she was.
Though she grew up in a tough neighborhood, Trice always kept a good head on her shoulders.
Trice liked to party, have fun, but she always was a hardworking woman. Very smart, very intelligent.
But what made Trice happiest were her children.
She had 3 boys. She was a great mom. She took care of her kids very well. They always did fun activities.
Being a single mom wasn't always easy, but there wasn't anything Trice wouldn't do for her children.
The financial strains of raising 3 children as a single mom is tough, but she was working at a grocery store. She had been there for 6 years.
She was definitely dedicated to ensuring that her children were taken care of.
And she had a little help raising the boys.
Oh, and don't forget, take the bus to your dad's house, okay, after school. All right, I love you.
Though she had separated from the 2 fathers of her 3 children, the men were still in their lives.
They did stay very close, and you can tell that they were in a mature co-parenting relationship.
But in 2015, Trice had a new man in her life, Arturo Alomas.
Trice met Arturo through a mutual friend.
They clicked pretty instantly.
It's fun, it's light, it's super loving.
When you're meeting someone new, we have the butterflies, the mild anxiety that comes from, oh my God, do they feel the same way as me? And that's really the best part, right? The falling in love.
But Trice had a feeling that her relationship with Arturo was more than just a passing fling.
He's open and accepting for her and her children.
Arturo seemed to be someone that she could, raise a family with. I have something I gotta tell you.
It turned out she'd soon have the chance to do just that.
Trice and Arturo, they got pregnant.
What? Despite the strains that it poses on a new relationship, Arturo still stepped up.
Listen, we're gonna make this work.
Okay.
And I love you so much.
I love you too.
And in January of 2016, Trice and Arturo welcomed a baby girl.
We was happy for her because she was having her first daughter.
You can imagine the excitement she felt. There's something special as a mom to have a daughter. She's gonna be your little best friend.
They were enjoying their new bundle of joy.
They had also started talking about moving in together.
It seemed like it was going to be an amazing future between the two.
Only now, Trice has gone missing, and her family has called 911 and requested a welfare check.
The last time everybody seen her, she was home.
Her apartment was the last place she was known to be, and she wasn't answering the phone or her door.
More family was being notified, and they were all showing up at the location.
I'll send police officers over and they'll see if they can help you figure this out, okay?
Okay.
But while the family waits for the officers to arrive, Trice's father remembers that he has a key to her apartment.
Trice's family was actually able to get into the apartment.
We didn't know what was inside, but I can feel things before it happened, and I knew it wasn't nothing good.
The premonition proves correct.
Trice!
Jaquetta was the first one to see her laying on the floor.
Her hands and feet were bound together.
There's a plastic bag over her head.
Jaquetta ripped the bag off of her head, tried to give her CPR.
But it was too little, too late.
She was already cold. She was already deceased.
Detectives are on the hunt to find out what happened to Trice Johnson. Stay with us as we unlock the mysteries that lie ahead. This is the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
Already raising 3 boys, Trice Johnson had just welcomed a little girl into the family with her new boyfriend, Arturo Alomas.
It was her first daughter.
You can imagine the excitement she felt.
But now, just 2 months after the baby's birth, Trice's family has made a devastating discovery.
Hello, I need to talk now.
We immediately called the cops, and we told them that my sister was here on the floor.
She was bound by the hands and by the legs with a plastic bag over her head, duct taped with a cord of some sort.
We've been looking for her all day. We couldn't get in.
There was nothing that could have prepared them for what they would find in there.
To walk in and to see someone that was full of life like Trice, someone who loved her family and was the glue for her family, to see that person that way is such a shock. It is something that you can never prepare for.
There was screaming, there was crying. At least one person who threw themselves on the floor, unable to stand the gravity of what they were taking in.
The family is still in shock when police arrive at the scene minutes later.
Trice's family were taken out so that they can secure the crime scene.
The crime scene, detectives, everybody was there doing their investigation.
But there is nothing they can do for Trice.
She was pronounced dead.
But why was she killed?
Where she lived was one of the biggest public housing projects in the city.
It was a lot of crimes, a lot of drug dealing.
Detectives had to consider the possibility that this was a random crime.
But after looking around the apartment, that appears unlikely.
There was no signs of break-in.
Trice's cell phone and wallet were missing, but other valuables remained.
Other than a body on the floor, there was just nothing that was remarkable about the crime scene.
However, the state of Trinice's body does tell detectives something about the crime.
Policing the bag over her head, that was a deliberate, so she couldn't breathe, she couldn't scream. Her hands, her feet were bound, so she couldn't run, she couldn't get away.
This wasn't a smash and grab robbery gone wrong. Whoever killed Trinice had essentially tortured her.
It was personal. It was someone that she knew.
Detectives hope the family can eventually shed some light on who might do such a thing to Trinice, but they're currently too distraught to talk.
Imagine, as a father, walking into your daughter's apartment and finding her dead. You are not going to be in any condition to be able to answer questions. It would take an extreme amount of resilience to be able to do that.
The only person able to speak with detectives is Trinice's cousin, Jason.
We're real sorry, folks.
Can't believe she gone. We was just at the club last night.
Jason had been out with Trinice and her sisters the night before.
Well, it was her birthday.
You have a mom of 4 that wants to celebrate and have a good time. She had her 3 boys and a brand new newborn and all the stresses of that. She wanted to go let her hair down, enjoy herself.
They were having a grand time, going out, celebrating her, celebrating life.
And then she catches somebody's eye.
Trinice was a beautiful girl, right? So she got a lot of attention.
The man said his name was Demetrius.
Did you get his last name?
She didn't say.
Demetrius was buying Trinice drinks, giving her a lot of attention. Typical behavior that you see from a man who is interested in a woman at the club.
Trinice had been flattered.
Trinice was just a few months postpartum, right? And so oftentimes women are not feeling like themselves. So to be in a space where they're getting attention makes them feel like, hey, I still got it.
But according to her cousin, that was as far as it went.
So, what do you say we get out of here?
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't.
She did inform him that she was seeing someone.
The boundary was there. Hey, I'm not interested in anything more. I'm here tonight to have a good time.
Well, that's all I'm talking about. Having a good time.
According to Trinice's cousin, Demetrius didn't want to take no for an answer.
If you've ever been to the club, you know that there's always going to be someone that's going to try to buy you drinks, etc. And sometimes there is this notion that with those drinks, there comes an exchange of sorts, a transaction, right? I'm buying you drinks. It should at least buy me something later on.
Her cousin says that Trinice had eventually had enough.
Trinice decided to ghost Demetrius at the bar.
While he was buying another round of drinks, Trinice, her cousin, and her sisters had quietly slipped out without telling him.
Trinice's cousin says they left at a little after 2 o'clock in the morning.
My cousin dropped my sister off at home.
You didn't go in with her? She told me she was good.
My sister called my cousin once she entered her home and said, I'm in the house, you can go home.
But detectives know that Trinice's night was far from over.
Police were trying to figure out if she told Demetrius where she lived or anything of that nature.
This person that was buying them drinks all night could have followed her home. He could have possibly had this ego injury. How dare you accept drinks from me and not give me anything after and just leave me like this? He may have engaged in an altercation with her of some sort that led to her death.
Detectives believe they have a person of interest. And while Trinice's cousin doesn't know Demetrius's last name, he is able to provide them with a physical description.
He did say that Demetrius was a decent-looking guy, light-skinned, in his 30s, and bald.
After talking to Trinice's cousin, detectives canvass the housing complex, looking for possible witnesses.
They come across a neighbor who happened to have been outside at approximately 4 a.m.
While she was smoking a cigarette, she did see a man leaving Trinice's building.
The description she gave of the man sounded awfully familiar.
He was black, he was light-skinned, and he was bald.
Hidden truths and further mystery lie ahead. Stay tuned for more of the Fatal Attraction podcast.
Detectives investigating the murder of Trice Johnson suspect they may have identified the mother of four's killer.
On the night of the murder, Trice had gone out to celebrate her birthday, and she had met a guy who had came on to her pretty aggressively.
So, what do you say we get out of here?
She left. She ghosted him.
And now talking to one of Trice's neighbors, detectives believe the man from the club may have followed her home.
Her neighbor let them know that they did see someone leaving Trice's building around 4 o'clock in the morning the night prior.
When she was asked to describe him, he was tall, bald, light-skinned.
Detectives do believe that this could be a match to Demetrius.
Before leaving, detectives note a nearby security camera.
Can you tell us where the leasing office is?
The next step is we gotta corroborate the story. So the detectives go over to the leasing office to get the footage.
The office manager was able to give them a copy of their security camera footage from the night before.
Back at the station, detectives find exactly what they're looking for.
They did see a black man, bald, light-skinned, walk across the courtyard at around 4 a.m.
They weren't able to tell who it was, though.
It's dark, and the man in the footage is far from the camera.
They couldn't see clearly, but they did see this person.
But who is he exactly? All the detectives know is that the man from the club told Trice his name was Demetrius.
They didn't know his last name or even if Demetrius was his real first name.
The following morning, detectives decide to pay a visit to the club.
They decided to go to the club to see if they can find out any information that they could about Demetrius.
They have Demetrius' description, so they questioned the staff.
You might have been here with this woman.
Detectives are in luck.
They're like, oh yeah, bald guy. Yeah, we've seen him here. Comes often, likes to buy the ladies drinks.
He acts like a player, trying to do what he can to either take a woman home, get her number, whatever the case may be, but he does come in often.
But just as the detectives think they've tracked down the mysterious Demetrius, they hit a snag.
I don't remember his last name. He always pays with cash.
She does believe he works at some sort of shipping company at the airport.
Could have been FedEx, UPS, but she does know that much.
It's the slimmest of leads. But after a few phone calls, it appears to pan out.
They find out that there is a Demetrius Barnes working at one of the shipping companies as a package sorter.
Detectives did speak to the night shift manager, who said he does fit the description and he was off Saturday night.
Making it very clear that it is possible that he could have been the same Demetrius that was at the bar buying Trice drinks.
Before bringing him in for questioning, the detectives do a little digging on Demetrius Barnes.
Now that they have a last name, they're able to go through their database.
When they pulled his criminal record, it suggested that they may be on the right track.
They did find a handful of domestic violence charges.
One woman, one victim, even went as far as to get a restraining order against him because she feared him so much.
And the details in the restraining order raise another red flag.
The woman who filed the restraining order against Demetrius did say that he was following her and showing up at her apartment uninvited. So at this point, detectives are very certain that they want to bring him in for questioning.
We have someone who met Trice, has domestic violence charges against him, was ghosted, and could have possibly had this injury to his ego and his pride about How dare you accept drinks from me and not give me anything after and just leave me like this? So we have a possible motive for him to follow her home.
They think that this is our guy.
But if that's true, will he crack once alone in a room with detectives?
What's this all about? We need to ask you a few questions about Trice Johnson.
When they did ask him, if they know Trice, he says he doesn't know who she is.
To jog his memory, detectives show Demetrius a photo.
They press him a little bit more and try to remind him of the night.
They saying, are you sure you didn't know her? You were seen at the club.
You say her name's Trice?
He says, oh yeah, I do remember this woman.
He says, I'm not sure she even told me her name.
Is she in some kind of trouble or something? You can say that.
When detectives reveal that Trice was murdered, Demetrius's response raises eyebrows.
Just like, oh, that's too bad.
It wasn't the normal response that one would expect. He wasn't shocked. He was more nonchalant.
That's all you got to say? Hey, man, what do you want?
He's like, well, I only met her the one time.
Or so he claims.
At this point, detectives bring up the domestic abuse charges.
We know you like to show up at places you're not wanted. Let's see what this is all about.
At this point, something clicks in Demetrius's head where he's like, I think I know where these cops are trying to go with this.
He realizes that they're talking about the restraining order. And Demetrius becomes very defensive. And he says, well, that restraining order was BS.
Look, man, you got it all wrong. I had nothing to do with this.
For Demetrius, it's like, listen, all I did was go out and meet a pretty woman.
So then they say, well, then what did you do after the club? And he said, well, I didn't go home.
But he says he didn't go to Trice's either.
He was disappointed that she ghosted him. He thought that they were getting somewhere. But the night wasn't over for him. He did text a woman named Sheila Smallwood to connect with her after the club.
At 2 a.m. Yeah, she's used to it.
This is someone that he texts at this hour normally that he hooks up with.
He says they have this sort of friends with benefits type hookup relationship.
When the detectives follow up with Sheila, it appears that Demetrius is telling the truth.
She's able to corroborate the alibi that yes, he did in fact go to her house at that time and stayed the whole night, didn't leave until about 10 a.m. the next day.
He was not with Trice at the time that she was murdered.
Less than 24 hours into their investigation, detectives have ruled out suspect number one.
Detectives are feeling very frustrated because their one lead has now vanished.
When detectives receive the results of Trice's autopsy, they're no closer to finding her killer.
There was no DNA evidence and there was no sexual assault. So there's really no way of cross-matching this to any one person.
The only thing detectives could really learn was the cause of death.
She did die from strangulation and asphyxiation.
However, just when the investigation is at an impasse, Trice's father contacts the detectives with a troubling piece of news.
The family hadn't been able to reach Arturo Alomas, Trice's boyfriend and father of her infant daughter.
He's gone off the radar. They cannot find him anywhere.
He's not answering calls, he's going to voicemail.
Which is especially troubling considering what he says next.
Trice had left the baby with Arturo when she went out to celebrate her birthday.
The family is now at its wit's end.
So not only are they, still mourning the loss of Trice, but now they're not fully sure where her daughter is.
Stay tuned for more of the Fatal Attraction podcast.
Detectives investigating Trice Johnson's murder have just discovered that her boyfriend, Arturo Alomas, and their baby daughter are missing.
Before going to the bar, Trice made sure that her children were being taken care of by their fathers. So the family's going to the different fathers and making sure that they check in, and they say they've been unable to reach Arturo this whole time that things have happened.
Detectives sent police to Arturo's apartment, and when they were able to gain access to the apartment, there was no sign of Arturo and no sign of the baby either.
The family realizes that the baby is gone, and panic ensues.
I was worried about my niece. I was just in shock about the whole situation.
Where is Arturo? But more importantly, where is the baby? What happened here?
There's one explanation the detectives have to consider.
The detectives ask, well, do you think that Arturo could have something to do with this?
I don't know.
Trice's father isn't sure.
The family is basically saying that they don't know. They don't know if he could have done this or not.
Why would he do that? Why would he take her?
Remember, they don't know Arturo very long. They know him about as long as Trice knows him.
Looking for leads, detectives pull Arturo's criminal record.
They're looking at the patterns of his life. You want to see if he has a violent background.
What they find is troubling.
And they did find a lot of charges against him.
Arturo's record shows that he has several charges from robbery all the way up to aggravated assault.
But that's not all detectives find in Arturo's background check.
The whole time he had been seeing Trice, Arturo was married to someone else.
This was something that he kept a secret.
And now detectives wondered if a jealous wife could be behind the murder and Arturo's disappearance.
The woman's name is Octavia Smith. But when detectives bring her in for questioning, she says she hasn't seen Arturo in months.
Well, we're basically separated.
She said they were only still married because she didn't have the money to hire a lawyer.
However, she does admit to knowing about Arturo's relationship with Trice and their baby.
What was your relationship like with Trice?
There wasn't one. I've never even talked to her.
And you weren't jealous that she was with Arturo?
Or that she had his baby?
Lord, no.
But is she telling the truth?
Where were you Saturday night?
At home, watching TV.
Was anyone with you?
My mom. But she went to bed around midnight, I think.
It was kind of a weak alibi, since Trice didn't even get home until 2 o'clock in the morning.
As the detectives in New Jersey are debating whether or not to rule Arturo's wife out as a suspect, an officer 600 miles to the south is weighing a different decision. The North Carolina cop is outside the small town of Salisbury when he spots something illegal on a car with New Jersey tags.
The car who was driving had blue lights on their bumper.
The blue lights were a violation since police use blue lights.
And he was also speeding, so something just didn't seem right with the vehicle.
Switching on his own blue lights, the officer attempts to stop the driver.
The officer did decide to try to pull over this car.
But the car doesn't stop.
Instead of slowing down, he attempts to flee.
Detectives are on the hunt to find out what happened to Trice Johnson. Stay with us as we unlock the mysteries that lie ahead. This is the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
Trice Johnson's family is confronting the awful possibility that her boyfriend Arturo Alomas may have murdered the mother of 4 and disappeared with the couple's 2-month-old daughter.
I was so afraid because I didn't know if he did something to my niece. I didn't know what to think.
You pray, you panic, and then you pray and panic some more.
But while they pray, an officer in North Carolina is attempting to pull over a suspicious vehicle with New Jersey tags.
He initially tried to pull the car over because it had those illegal blue lights.
The driver did not pull over and try to flee the scene.
A lot of times when you attempt to pull a car over and the vehicle is refusing to stop, they're hiding narcotics in the car, they're hiding a weapon in the car, or they're fleeing. They're fleeing something.
The police have to get this car stopped.
After calling in backup, the officer pulls in tight on the fleeing car to perform what's known as a precision immobilization technique.
The pit maneuver is basically the old bump and run maneuver from NASCAR, where you nudge the car you're chasing, leading the car to temporarily lose control.
The car spun and then came to a stop in the median.
With the fleeing car momentarily stopped, the officers move in.
They cut him off so he couldn't go anywhere, and then they ordered him out of the vehicle.
Show me your hands. Come on out. Step out of the vehicle.
Lights are going. It's a very tense moment.
The driver does get out of the car and is instantly put into handcuffs.
It's only then that the officer realizes there is someone else in the car.
There is an infant, a baby, in the backseat.
She was in a car, not strapped in, no car seat.
They start asking, who is this child? He identifies her as his daughter.
What's your name, man?
Arturo Alamas.
All right.
At that point, the police officer did search the car, and they see a lot of bags packed in the car, a lot of baby bags with bottles and different types of supplies that you would need for a baby.
Meaning that he was preparing for a long trip.
The officer also searches through the car's glove box.
They did see that the car was registered under Trice's name.
Who's Trice Johnson?
It's my girlfriend. It's her car.
It was true. Trice did have two cars, one that police found outside her apartment and another that she let Arturo use.
What else the officer finds inside the car is tougher to explain.
In the front seat, there was a backpack that had Trice's cell phone and her wallet.
All of this is giving red flags.
So they do ask, where's Trice?
Where's Trice at?
Trice?
Yeah, your girlfriend? This stuff belongs to her, right?
The police don't know what has happened in New Jersey.
They don't know Trice was murdered.
It was only after he had been pulled over that he realized that they didn't know everything.
So Arturo attempts to buy himself more time.
We got into an argument. I let her out a couple miles back.
He told them that he left my sister walking up the highway because they had an argument, so she got out.
Where'd you leave her at?
Right past the store.
He had to realize that they were going to find out.
Hidden truths and further mystery lie ahead.
Show me your hands. Come on out.
North Carolina police have just stopped Arturo Alamas for what started as a minor traffic violation.
The trooper initially was going to stop him for those illegal blue lights, but then he fled. And when they finally stopped him, they realized he had an unsecured infant right in the back seat.
Whose baby is that?
They charge him with felony speeding, to elude arrest, reckless driving, and child endangerment.
However, the authorities in North Carolina soon learned that Arturo may be guilty of far more.
It's not until they take him over to the jail and start the booking process that they learn that he is wanted as a person of interest in the death of Trice Johnson.
So this has gone from a routine traffic stop to a multi-state case.
Word of Arturo's arrest soon reaches the authorities in New Jersey and Trice's family.
And they tell us that they have Arturo in custody. And I was relieved because he got caught and because my niece was safe and sound.
But the family remains sickened by the realization of what Arturo has done.
Why would he do that to her? Why would he take her from her kids?
Based on the evidence from the traffic stop, the detectives have little doubt that Arturo killed Trice.
Why did he have her phone? Why did he have her belongings?
And why would he tell the trooper that he'd left Trice on the side of the road?
He's being asked about her explicitly, and rather than coming clean, he will do anything in order to get away from the police and out of this situation.
Detectives also work to place Arturo at the scene of the crime.
They bring the neighbor in who said that they did see someone in the courtyard, and they show a photo lineup of several men, and she picks out Arturo.
She identifies him as the man that she saw crossing the courtyard that Sunday morning at 4 a.m.
Prosecutors charge Arturo with murder and extradite him back to New Jersey. When he goes on trial in August of 2018, the family is determined to see that justice is served.
I was pregnant with my daughter, but I made sure I made every appearance in court.
In their opening statement, prosecutors argue that Trice's murder was a clear case of jealousy.
Basically, he was upset because she went out for her birthday. He seen the videos on social media.
When you have a person that's controlling, to see your partner, at a club where there are other potential people that may be looking at them, it causes the person to feel that they are being violated.
There are men who become very jealous if they think that she is out with someone else.
The prosecutors theorize that when Trice returned home from the club, Arturo was waiting.
What are you doing in here?
What the hell you doing?
He was just jealous, just enraged.
All she did was walk into the living room and he attacked her.
And it did escalate to the point where Arturo did strangle Trice.
He had no reason to do what he did to my sister. Nothing in this world would help me or make me understand why.
Arturo's brutality didn't end there either.
Instead of leaving her for dead, Arturo did tie her up and put a plastic bag over her head just in case the strangulation wasn't enough.
Even if she was just knocked out and came to later on, she wouldn't be able to breathe.
Then, leaving Trice to die, Arturo fled with their daughter.
This man committed this heinous crime against the mother of his child and also took his baby along with him for the ride.
They go to North Carolina. And oddly enough, he was running to North Carolina to go see his own mother.
It is very ironic that he decides to rob 4 children of their mother, someone who is supposed to be the woman that they can go to, they can run to when they're in trouble, just for him to go to his mom when he's in trouble and run to her knowing that she'd be there for him.
But now Arturo's running is over.
The jury does find Arturo guilty of the murder of Trice.
The judge sentenced him to 75 years in prison.
It's essentially a life sentence.
He has to serve 85% of that sentence before he's eligible for parole.
He'll be 98 when he is even eligible for parole.
Hopefully, he will die in jail and he won't be able to have freedom again. To me, he should have got the death penalty because he took my sister's life.
But nothing will ever bring Trice back to her children.
They miss their mother each and every day. Each and every day, no matter how many years it may be. They didn't get the chance to grow with her. Now they got to grow without her.
My prayer for Trinice's 3 sons and daughter is that they find peace. Closure is not possible with a situation like this, but my prayer is that they're in an environment with family that is able to love on them.
She may not be here physically, but she definitely is here spiritually. She see everything that goes on. She know everything that goes on. She is our guardian angel.
A night of fun should never have led to such a tragedy. The events surrounding what happened to Trice Johnson are unimaginable and deeply saddening. A mother, a daughter, and a sister, Trice Johnson, gone too soon. Trinice's light and vibrancy will forever live on in the hearts of her children and those who loved her. Coming up on the next episode of the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
He was a rising star on the local music scene.
He was known throughout the community. The type of guy that men wanted to be and women wanted to be with.
But he was more than just a local celebrity.
He was raising his daughter on his own.
He was a good person, just doing right by the community and his family.
So when he's gunned down, shockwaves roll through the whole town.
911. Where?
Somebody got shot. Police find him lifeless in her arms. Who would kill this man in cold blood?
A devoted family man, a nurturing father, a creative force, a DJ, and a beacon of inspiration who left a lasting impact on the lives of everyone who had the privilege of knowing him. However, without warning, the sound of gunshots echoes too close for comfort. Tune in to the next episode of the Fatal Attraction Podcast. We will see you in the next episode.